Hey, this is Hammer giving you another battle report. It's the championship match of a 3,000 point tournament. This time my Bretonnians going against their hated and feared rivals, the Ogre Kingdoms. So, in the history of our league, I've been the only player to defeat this Ogre Kingdom's army. But that was in the old book. Since then, he's won 12 in a row, including crushing my army twice. So, you don't win 12 in a row on sheer luck alone. So obviously a very skilled and dangerous opponent. Yeah, I can say I've been at the losing end of this rivalry. So on my left, that's my normal Knight of the Realm unit. Those are my archers spread out to absorb cannonball blasts with their wall, their defensive stakes. Spread out my Grail Knights to reduce their damage. And same thing here, spread out my double paladin unit, so, reduce the casualties. Bowman unit are right in there, blocking cannon shots, and General is hiding behind the building because he's a sure target for cannons. This is a view from my right side. So on my opponent's left side is an Iron Blaster, a Saber Tusk, 6 lead belchers, 10 Gnarblock trappers, another Iron Blaster, 2 more Saber Tusks in front of his Morn Fangs, and is a big line of bulls with his BSB and level 1, I believe. So he was thinking exactly the same thing I was, except to avoid damage from my trebs. So in the center, does the same thing with his Iron Guts. He's got a Fire Belly in that unit, and is level 4. 2 Iron Blasters on the hill, 10 more Gnarblock trappers, and 2 Saber Tusks on the far right. So here's my Vanguard move on the left, and here it is on the right. So going to Ogre's turn 1. So I should mention that he got all of his Saber Tusks, Iron Blasters, and Gnarblock trappers on the board, to force me to deploy my entire army before he put any of his dangerous blocks down. So I had no idea where any of his stuff was going. But so here on the left, he moves up, as you can see, moves his lead belchers into that building, which was absolutely perfect position for them. There's no way I'm going to charge him. No lance bonuses. I'd have to fight on foot, and yeah, it just would not work. So very, very strong position for those lead belchers. In the center, he moves up his Morn Fangs, Saber Tusks, as you can see. Gnarblock trappers moving up on the right, and so further on the right, getting ready to try to redirect me and keep my powerhouse knight units away from his left flank. So shooting, he fires at my Treb and takes down 3 crew members, but it survives, which was nice. On the right, 1 cannon just rips through my pegs and just kills them outright. And in the center, my peasant bowmen, their defensive stakes managed to absorb a cannonball, so that's how I had planned to use them all game. Then on the left again is lead belchers open up on my Knights of the Realm, but only kill 2. So going to Brett turn 1, nothing really significant happened in the first 2 phases of the game. I moved my knights up, had no charges, moved my peasants into the woods. Magic sucked. But during shooting, so my trebs scattered and hit nothing. But this archer unit targeted one of the redirecting Saber Tusks. They killed him. It panicked another Saber Tusk, which panicked the Gnoblars, which panicked an Iron Blaster off the board. So just a chain reaction of panic. And Yeah, it made me realize how low leadership all these Ogre redirectors really are. So, it seems like the key to shutting down this aspect of the game for the Ogres. So as you can see, the result was that it cleared a nice path for my knights on the right side of the board. So on Ogre's turn 2, he makes a series of important charges. Saber-Tusk into the front of my pegs, Gnoblars into the flank of my pegs, Saber-Tusk into the flank of the Grail Knights, and the big one, Mournfangs, into the front of the Grail Knights. So, yeah, I was really hoping he would fail that and I could get a decent counter charge, but, you know, he made it. Found out he had Banner of Swiftness on that unit, so it wasn't too difficult of a charge for him to make. Definitely considering finding a way to add that into my list, throwing into my Grails. So, he reforms his big Iron Gut unit here at the top, now that my Knights pretty much have free reign on that flank. Moves up his Saber-Tusk and his Iron Blaster, reform those bowls to start getting into the fight. So here's an overview of the board at this point. His shooting. So his Iron Blaster finishes off that one wound Treb that was on the left. It panics my Bowman off the board, which panics my Treb, so now I can't shoot. So a good panic chain reaction for him as well. After close combat, as expected, my Grail Knights just get crushed. They don't do a single wound back. And when they get crushed, it panics my Grail Relique out of the woods. So, yeah, not good at all. In this peg combat, though, the pegs tear up the Saber-Tusk, and they run down the Gnoblar Trappers, as the leftmost peg killed 2 Gnoblar Trappers himself as well. So it's good to see, because it's on his turn. So on my turn, they're going to be able to charge the Iron Blaster that's to the left of that tower. That's in view. So on Brett turn 2, as mentioned, my pegs get a nice charge into his Iron Blaster. Really feel like I have a chance to beat an Iron Blaster with pegs this time, because I'm in the flank, I have a charge. I think I have enough combat res that I might be able to run him off the board. So this is just showing my Knights moving towards the Mournfangs. Can't remember if I attempted to charge here or not. Might have been next turn. I don't remember. So in the middle, my Grail Relique fails to rally and continues to run towards the edge of the board. So, yeah, not good for the Grail Relique, because all he has to do now is charge me and force me to keep fleeing, and I'll be off the board. So also, I bring my Heroic Killing Blow General out of his hiding spot. Probably be smarter just to keep him back there, save the points all game. But the opportunity for glory was too great against these Mournfangs. Over here on the right, just move up such that he's at long distance from my charges. For him to charge, rather, and I am still within reasonable distance to charge. After close combat with the pegs, yeah, I do 3 wounds on him with my Peg Knights, which was great. He does 1 to finish off the wounded Peg Knight. So just dominating performance, and he rolls double 1s to stay. Very unfortunate. Really wanted that pickup there. Going to Ogre's turn 3, he charges his Saber-Tusk into my Grail Relique, and unfortunately they run off the board. He also charges Mournfangs into my Bowman, I think hoping his Saber-Tusk would charged far enough to get out of the way. But it ended up that Saber-Tusk was stuck in front of the Mournfangs. But my bowmen fled. They stayed on the board just barely. So it looks like this. And if my Knights of the Realm survive, they have a chance to get a rear charge against his Mournfangs. So Saber-Tusk charges my disabled Treb on the left side. So, yeah, I forgot to mention, but by turn 2, my turn 2, I only had one functioning Treb. His cannons managed to kill one, or kill 2 and panic 1. So, towards the right, he reforms his big Iron Gut unit. This is pretty smart. Reformed him 4 wide from 3 wide. So when you reform, you have to maintain your center. And so this allowed him to move his back rank, or his front rank, further back, which made my charges a lot more difficult. So, yeah, something to keep in mind. So in his magic phase, he casted something that puts a wound on an ogre, but makes you pretty much a level 6. And if you roll anything besides double ones, you're fine. But if you roll double ones, your own guys beat you up and kill you because they're angry that you put a wound on them or something like that. So he rolls double ones and his level 4 just gets smacked silly. Yeah, very unlikely. Says this is the first time this has ever happened to him, which is not surprising given the odds. So in his shooting phase, one of his Iron Blasters blows itself up, which I was very happy to see. However, sure enough, before my general could get into any glorious combat, he was mowed down dishonorably by another Iron Blaster. What can he do? Over here, his Lead Belchers take off another Knight or 2, and his Saber-Tusk wins the Treb combat. Then over here, once again, my Peg Knights put another wound on the Iron Blaster. He's down to 1 wound remaining. I win, and he needed, low rolls again, and he rolls a 3 and stays. So, oof, very frustrating for the Peg Knight unit. So going to Brett turn 3, charge with my double Paladin unit and my BSB unit into the Iron Guts, and I fail both charges. Very behind at this point and need to make something happen, but couldn't get it done. My BSB's unit looks reduced because I took this picture after the magic phase, as you'll see. Also in the movement phase, I charged my Knights of the Realm into the rear of the Mournfangs, and they actually fled. So now I'm set up for an easy flank charge with his bowls against my Knight of the Realm unit. So in my magic phase, failed the charges, needed to do something. So once again, I roll the dishonorable spell, Dwellers Below. It goes off irresistibly, and I take down 5 or so Iron Guts, along with 5 Knights. So, in this combat, once again, big pillow fight. So he hasn't been doing much to me either, but I've still been winning every combat. And I won once again just by pure combat res, and he makes his break test. On Ogre's turn 4, he fails a charge with his Iron Guts into my Knight units, which I thought was nice. Should make it easier for me next turn. Here on the left, he fails a very easy charge with his Bull units into my Knight of the Realm unit. However, his Saber-Tusk that had defeated my Treb charged the flank of that Knight of the Realm unit. I know this is out of order, but after close combat, his Saber Tusk managed to beat my Knight of the Realm unit, and they got away, but they're right in front of the Bull unit, so yeah. While his failed charge was unlucky, his Saber Tusk beating my Knight of the Realm unit was pretty fortunate. So over here, his Mournfangs that were charged by that same Knight of the Realm unit earlier failed to rally and continued to run towards the edge of the board. So in this combat, I think this was a drawn combat this time. So still a pillow fight, and he moves his lead belchers out of the building, so if I don't win, on his turn 5, he's just going to charge me and crush me. On Brett turn 4, I make the double charge into his Iron Guts. So it's now or never. The time for glory is here. So this was actually fortunate, but my Knight of the Realm unit failed to rally, so I got out of the charge arc of his Bull unit. And going to close combat. So definitely an important pickup for the Bretonnians. I was definitely favored to win that combat. But unfortunately, my BSB's unit failed to run off the board like I wanted them to. So what that means is his cannon can turn around on his turn and just take out my 300-point prophetess. I'm not going to get a lookout, sir, so it'll be easily done, as accurate as those cannons are. So yeah, that was unfortunate to see. Over here, once again, the pegs win this time, and he passes his break test. So I'm about to get charged. So on Ogre's turn 5, he charges as expected. However, since I have higher initiative and I get to go first, my last remaining Peg Knight manages to put the last wound on the Iron Blaster and take it down. So finally got it. A little bit late, and I'm gonna lose the points for my pegs, but glad they could at least get it done at the last second. So he easily crushes them and reforms, as you can see. Let's see, I think that's showing his Saber Tusk charge my Knight of the Realm unit, so they continued to flee. And he reformed his big Bull unit there to face him. So out of order, of course, but this was in a shooting phase. So his cannon is lined up to shoot my prophetess or my double paladin unit. Shoots at my prophetess, so it bounces. It lands directly on her, so it's only going to hit her, and he rolls a 1 to wound. So yeah, lucky as hell in my book. So his Mournfangs over here, who were originally charged, fled, failed to rally, fled again, and on Ogre's turn 5, failed to rally again, and rolled an 11 to flee, fled right through that house, and there wasn't enough room on the other side of the house to not violate the 1 inch away rule, because their bases are so long, and they fled right off the board. So absolute disastrous luck. Obviously a very important unit, and fairly expensive unit, to just fail 2 rallies. Kind of like my freaking Grail Relique did this game, but More fangs are a little more expensive. So on Brett turn 5, I reformed my BSP's unit. I don't even remember why right now. But there were no charges. I didn't charge my double paladin unit into his iron blaster. I was too close to get countercharged by his bowls, in which case I would lose a lot of points. So really nothing to be gained. So I was relying on my magic phase. I wanted to regrow as many knights as I could, see if I could get my lookout sir back, which was easily doable. I roll a 3 for my magic phase, and yeah, I don't get regrowth off. Threw all 3 dice at it, roll like crap, and his level 2 out dispels my level 4's casting. So, devastating magic. And now his iron blaster is going to have one last shot, unless my Treb can take it down. So, yeah, I haven't really talked about my Trebs much at all because they sucked it up pretty much all game. Probably mainly due to the fact that by turn 3 by turn 2 I had one functioning Treb. So that Treb focused all its fire on this one iron blaster you see in this picture, and I could never land a hit on it. So in this case again, fired the Treb and just couldn't land a rock. So on his turn 6, there's nothing else to do but shoot. So he shot at my prophetess's unit, and he misfired, and she stayed alive. Just incredibly lucky on my part. I mean, cannons in this game are laser sighted. They just don't miss. But these 2 rounds of shooting, have allowed me to save that 300 points, which is very important. So, Bretonnian turn 6, what do? Don't charge. It's not worth it. Shoot my Treb once again at his iron blaster. Couldn't wound it. And that's the end of the game. So, obviously this ended up being a lot closer game than I thought it would be. I still have my big BSP's unit there, really expensive unit with Prophetess, double paladin unit, a couple bowmen, got my Treb. So he's lost 3 iron blasters, bunch of saber tusks and noblars. His Morin fangs are gone. His big iron gut unit is gone with his level 4 and fire belly. So we added up the points, and the Bretonnians won by 165 points, which is just enough for a minor victory. So, very surprising. I mean, you just look back at this game and think of all the times in which, the points could have changed hands. So, my Knight of the Realm unit getting charged by a Saber Tusk and losing. If I had won, I could just march them away and save those 240 points. My Pegs beating his Iron Blaster when they should have, coming back and then saving points later in the game. And then my Archers killing his Saber Tusk, causing a chain reaction to flee everything off the board, including an Iron Blaster. His Mournfang's ridiculous failure to rally and roll so high every time and bounce to the other side of that house. Yeah, just crazy. Just a lot of little things, a lot of little unlucky things. Oh, and of course his cannon not killing my prophetess. So, make no mistake, I have no illusions of how fortunate I was at the end of this game. how fortunate I was in my last orc game too. So, yeah, some things managed to go my way, and I managed to slip by. But I'll take the win, and I'll take the championship. So, um, it is what it is. What else can I say? So coming into this game, my goals were shoot his iron blasters, uh, protect the trebs with my archer walls, spread out my elite knights, and put my BSB's unit on a flank, hopefully so he wouldn't get hell-hearted or something. So, yeah, and on the hell-heart, I forgot to mention it during the game, but yeah, he missed it. He cast it, but he didn't get far enough to get me, which was great given what it's done to me in the past. So, just another factor in the game. Yeah, it's hard to develop a plan because he can throw all his garbage units at me. And I have to deploy a whole force before I see any of his worthwhile blocks. So, didn't really have a plan for the Grail Relique. Just kind of put it in the woods and hope somebody makes dangerous terrain tests or something. Peg Knights, try to hole up an Iron Blaster here and there, but yeah, a lot of my units are much better designed for infantry-based armies. So, an army like the Ogre Kingdom presents several challenges. But overall, the game wasn't quite decided by my tactics. I think it's more so decided by the dice more than anything. But yeah, that's how it goes, I guess. So, against my rival now, I'm 2 wins and 2 losses. So, I think in our next 3,000 point battle, it's going to be pure melee. We're going to take out all the shooting, take out trebs and iron blasters, and just go pure hand-to-hand combat. So, bring out the peasant horde, bring out the Grail Relique, and I think we'll both be bringing more beasts. So, that should be a very interesting 5th game between us. And yeah, won't be as competitive of lists as we have now. 4 trebs, 4 iron blasters. That's pretty damn competitive. So, I'll post that game whenever we have time to play it. So here's an overview of the army that I brought to this tournament. Really enjoyed playing it. I designed it such that I could really participate in every phase of the game. So 4 trebs, 3 bowman units, obviously have pretty powerful shooting. But at the same time, I have hard-hitting units with Grail Knights, double Paladin unit, BSB's unit, 2 anvils with BSB's unit and Grail Relique, and I consider War Machine hunting / fast cav as another phase of the game itself. So, brought 2 peg units and, big monster killer, hero killing blow general. So, in this list, I pretty much have a little bit of something for any army in the game, which it's a lot of fun to play. I tried some all-mounted lists at 3,000 points, and it's just not as interesting as what I could do with this one. So, every unit had at least one game where they did something well, which was good to see. So, in terms of this last battle, it wasn't really a man of the match. No unit of mine stuck out so far ahead of everyone else like my previous games, but at least this time they were the army of the tournament. Furthermore, this army has earned the glory of ending the Ogre invasion of 2011.